Hey guys, Tony here. I want to explain why Michigan is going to win the Big Ten and the national title against Nick Saban and all the associated political narratives with the national title game. Because in gematria, the practice of coining letters and words into numbers, the first day of college football action was on the 9th month and the first day, which can be written out as 9-1. In gematria, it is blue wave that equals 91. Opening day of the season was on September the 1st. Very significant for what is going to come, because the date duration from September the 1st, the day that Michigan lost 21-17 to Notre Dame, or 24-17 rather, is a time span of 91 days. It is blue wave that equals 91, and you think of the saying for Michigan, go blue. That is what that symbolizes right here. It is M in gematria that equals 13. Funny enough, the time duration is 13 weeks from the first game to the day of the Big Ten championship game. Notice that when you include the end day, this would be 13 weeks and 1 day from the opener of the season to December the 1st. In gematria, it is championship that equals 68. So right here, scrolling down, it is, or rather up, championship equals 131 and 68. The coming blue wave is going to be very symbolic. The blue wave equals 43. It is champion that equals 43. The blue wave of 2018, the stock market crash of 19 equal 127 in gematria. The ongoing political narrative is interrelated. Can Jim Harbaugh win the big one? This question is going to be answered one way or the other after the game against the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. They lost the first game against Notre Dame. If Michigan were to knock off, let's say, an undefeated Ohio State and win the Big Ten championship game against a Penn State or Nebraska, in my opinion, they make the top 4 in the college football playoff if they're able to surpass Ohio State. The game was on the road. The quarterback got knocked out, Shea Patterson. He was out of the game for a little bit. The game was away. It was the first game of the season. A lot happens in the first game of the season. This is what I hear. The game at South Bend, if Michigan wins the Big Ten, they'd be given another shot, in my opinion, because Michigan won the national title equals 130. It's going to happen eventually. I'm going to say it's still going to happen this year. Coach Nick Saban. Nick Saban has 128 victories with Alabama in his career. The first game of the season, after Michigan's first loss, he picked up his 128th win. Notice how he enters the year with 127 wins. He's going to be playing in the national title game. Nick Saban's birthday is October the 31st. The amount of time from October the 31st to the day of the national title game is something to look out for Nick Saban, because championship in gematria equals 68. It is the championship number. His birthday's on October the 31st. The amount of time from October the 31st to Monday, January the 7th, is a time span of 68 days. Once again, it is championship that equals 68. That is the significance of Nick Saban's birthday of October the 31st. Notice how he's 66 years of age. Funny enough, in gematria, the practice of coding letters and words into numbers, once I scroll up here and type it in, notice how it is Harbaugh that equals 66. It is title that equals 66. It is Nick Saban, in fact, that is coming off of a title. He is 66 years old. He's going to turn 67 years old. And in gematria, the practice of coding letters and words into numbers, it is Levi's that equals 67. Coach Saban equals 67. He's going to be 67 years of age this season. He has 128 wins after this week. I've said before, this relates to Jim Harbaugh. This relates to his championship winning quarterback that he has with the Michigan Wolverines. So up here, let me type it again. Shane Patterson, or rather Shea Patterson. It is Patterson that equals 128. Harbaugh's champion quarterback equals 128. 12-8 is the day of the Heisman Trophy presentation. That's worth noting. I've covered that before. This is why Nick Saban having 128 wins after Michigan and Notre Dame is going to be very significant. If you look at the gematria and the numerology, it is Harbaugh in title that equals 66. It is title that equals 21. Nick Saban's 21st loss as a head coach is going to come in a national title game. His 21st loss with Alabama is going to come in a national title game against Harbaugh because Michigan, their blue colors. Harbaugh attending a Hillary Clinton rally is going to symbolize the blue wave, where they storm back after, losing the election in the seats in Congress in 2016. That's what the Notre Dame game is going to symbolize. Is how much faith Michigan has. Harbaugh visited the Pope. So that's something to look out for. You know why? Because the amount of time from Michigan, Notre Dame to the national title game, 128 days. Once again, Patterson, Harbaugh's champion quarterback, they're still in the title race. The amount of time from Michigan's first win to the day of the national title game is 122 days. Because we have the 130 sequence right here with Notre Dame, and is he able to win the big one, Jim Harbaugh? And then we have 2019, the national title game at the 49ers Stadium, over at Santa Clara, over at the Bay Area. San Francisco equals 122. Jim Harbaugh wins the big one, equals 122. The blue wave of 2019 equals 122. Now the blue wave of 2019 is going to be the Michigan Wolverines when they win the national title game. That is what that represents. There is 122 days from next week to January the 7th. Now next week can be written out as 9-8. The 9th month and the 8th day can be written out as 9-8. In gematria, interesting enough, it is Michigan Wolverines, it is Jim Harbaugh, it is champions that equals 98. Funny enough, how next week is going to be the first victory of 14 victories. Now let's get back to Nick Saban and Jim Harbaugh. Is that Harbaugh versus Saban? Coach Harbaugh won the national title, 144. Mark of the Beast is 144. No doubt there is something brewing for Coach Saban at Levi's. 14-1 for Michigan. 14-1 equals 67. It is end in gematria that equals 14. The end of a title job for Michigan. The end of a 21-year title job. You see how scripted this is? Michigan starts with M. M is 13. 13 weeks from next week to the Big Ten national title game. And there's a time span of 22 days from the day of the Big Ten national title game, December the 1st, to Jim Harbaugh's birthday on December the 23rd. So up here, December the 23rd, born in the year 63 for Jim Harbaugh. It is Nick Saban that's going to lose game number 63 in a national title game. Can't get any more obvious here. It's 66 days from the season opener against Notre Dame to the day of the midterms, the day that the blue wave is going to happen in the Michigan Go Blue narrative. Once again, it's 67 when you include the end date. 66 days from September the 1st and November the 6th. Harbaugh, title equals 66. Title equals 21. Saban's 21st loss. That is what that is representing. 67, if you include the end date, it is Levi's that equals 67. 91 days, blue wave equals 91, September the 1st to December the 1st. In Michigan, go blue, right? Very significant. Now, I'd like to know time span of next week, September the 8th, to the day of Jim Harbaugh's birthday, as well as the day of the Big Ten title game. So, zooming in again, September the 8th to 12-1. 84 days. Jesuit, the Catholic Church, if Harbaugh's meeting with Pope Francis going to hold any significance for this date. Something to look out for. So that is, if you don't include the week of this past college football weekend. Now, Michigan's first victory with Shea Patterson is going to hold quite a bit of significance. Again, is Harbaugh able to win the big one? This game against Notre Dame begs the question. 106 and 107 if you include the end day from September the 8th, their first win to Harbaugh's birthday. Well, it is championship drought that equals 107 if you include the end day, and it is prophecy that equals 106. Michigan last won the Big Ten in 2014. 14 years later, they end that streak of not winning the Big Ten. 14 years later, they allow themselves to win the 14th win, to end their 14-year Big Ten streak. 13 years without winning it. The 14th year, they win it a lot like the championship number, 13-1. So look out. Notre Dame, they win the Big Ten, then they're in the college football playoff, and they end up winning the title. That's what's going to happen is they win the Big Ten, and then they go into the playoff and take care of business. Playing on the road is going to help Michigan a lot for the committee.